Say hi as you come in. Afternoon or evening, everybody. It's just that it's so light outside, right? I actually just finished doing a little post for my Instagram, and I just couldn't believe how pretty it is. With all the green leaves on the trees and everything. Like I can't even see down the street. Like I said, I have the most beautiful little apartment. I never appreciated it. In the 23 years that I was here, right? I always appreciated my big window in the spring and stuff. But when you think, right, where some people live, right, or these days where some people aren't living, right? I just took 5 minutes to see what was going on with the world, people. I hope people aren't watching. Like, don't keep your nose glued. If you don't hear anything down the street, if there's no ruckus going on your block, stay out of it. That's all I can say. People aren't thinking right now properly, right? Emotions are really, really high. People are just not understanding how to deal with their emotions. Like, I'm watching posts. I can't help it. Some people that I follow posting too, like every picture, and they're praising, the people who are protesting. Just as 2 minutes and then I'm done with this. People protesting, they're doing the right thing and everything. Yeah, fine. But don't forget, we're in the middle of a pandemic right now. What are you guys doing? Get home. Get home. It's like people. Like, I just don't understand people sometimes, but yeah. Yeah. How are you doing, Andrew? How's it going? Perfect. Exactly, Andrew. That's exactly what I want you to continue to do. Continue to do. You shine your light when you can, right? When it's safe. When it's safe to go out there and walk around and shine your light, you go in there and you do it as much as you can. But when it's crazy out there, right? Right? Yes, you bleed like everybody else. Oh. But oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that, Andrew, that your day has been going pretty good. Yeah, I heard a little something that there's disturbances going in other parts of the country too. It's just not in Minneapolis. I was in Minneapolis a year ago. Like, really, these things happen in the world, and then I think, oh my God, right? Am I doing this? Right? Yeah. I mean, it's funny, but it's not funny, right? Because thought wouldn't even come to the surface unless there was just a little bit of worry, right? That is just like birthing pains going on or something. Yeah. Oh, no, that's terrible to hear. I didn't know people were actually, like, I heard about the gentleman who had his neck kneeled on, right? Like, where this all started. But yeah, but I don't understand why everybody decides that they need to do martyrism, right? Where they need to go out there. It's like Russian roulette, people. Like, seriously, I hope you're not taking your parents with you, right? Yeah. And then the flu clings on. Like, there's not a chance that all that stuff could be happening right now, and that flu isn't getting dispersed all over the place, right? Right? You're going to feel different once somebody in your family passes away from the virus, right? Or everybody gets sick, or a good friend, husband, right? Right? We're all responsible. You don't know whose life you affect down the road, right? Maybe 3 years from now you're walking down the street and somebody's not watching their little kid, and the little kid crosses the sidewalk, and you were there at that second just to grab that baby before a car got it, right? and you saved that baby's life, and then that baby is supposed to be president of the United States, like domino effect. Dominoes. I call it domino effect, but they actually call it cause and effect, right? I didn't know what it was. I understood the concept, but I didn't know there was an actual terminology for it, right? Yeah. Yeah. What does it say about us, right? What does it say about us? The whole world is watching, right? The whole, and I feel with you, Andrew. I feel with you guys, right? It's supposed to be the most powerful and most amazing country in the world, right? And you are, and then something just happened, right? Because we're not used to those traumas in our life when having these terrible things, like it all started with the virus. I don't, right? We might have been able to choke something back or been able to deal with it a little bit more, but everybody's so wired and so stressed and everything with the flu, right? That it just turned into something, and it was a bad thing that happened. It shouldn't have happened, right? Right? But we got to be careful. Like we got to understand our nerves are wired right now. It doesn't take much, for to say the wrong thing, right? And then you ruin, you know maybe your marriage would fall apart, right? Because you said something in a moment, in a heated moment, right? That you didn't mean that. Well, maybe you sort of kind of meant in the moment, right? But you wish you could take it back, but it's too late. It's already been said, right? Right? There's got to be a certain, like, if we could just give ourselves some time before jumping in, right? If we could give ourselves time to absorb the situation a little bit, and you might see things a little bit differently, right? You might see things the same, right? But you might see a way of getting the message across a little bit differently, where everybody can stay safe. Nobody is safe. Doesn't matter how much you protest or anything at this point. People are just not staying safe, right? I'm like watching these rallies, like everybody side by side, all in there like sardines. It just breaks my heart, right? To see people just martyr themselves and then make that decision for their loved ones at the same time, right? Because you're going to take that home, and yeah, it's got nothing to do with the situation. Oh Lord, upon my mouth, keep the door of my lips. Is that saying, Cindy? Let's not talk about it. Is that what you're saying, Andrew? Yeah. Right. I just don't know. Like, I want to do something to help, but I don't know what to do, right? You know, right? Sometimes it's common sense, but who's to say who has that common sense, right? All I know is my dad said it all the time, every day, almost every day growing up as a kid, right? Two wrongs don't make a right. I don't know how often, every day, I heard it every day, right? If my dad wasn't saying it, well, my mom wouldn't say it, but my dad said it every day. I heard it every day. And we used it too. Two wrongs don't make a right. And it's so true. All about people speaking too soon. Well, then, yeah. I just thought, if you guys need to unwind, right? If we need to get some stuff off our chest, it's Sunday. It's Sunday Chatters Live. It's where everybody should pop in, unload your thoughts. It doesn't matter. We don't judge here, right? We all have different ideas, right? We're all multicultural, multi-denominational, right? But just all looking to make sure that, we all move forward, right? We're all emotionally, holding each other up along the way when things aren't going good, right? You know, each of us have taken our turns, haven't we? We've all taken our turns, right? And yeah, I was actually talking about you I have a show on Instagram, Andrew. It's called What's My Good Cheer, right? It's the name of my show. And I come on live at 5 o'clock every day. and all cool, right? But isn't that amazing? Oh, like, isn't that amazing that we could all, like, pray for each other and send blessings out, and then some people can do the magic wishes, and I send out good mojo, right? And it's all gotta work, right? Because I heard, like, if it can be thought, it can be realized, right? So somebody thought of these things, so these things are realized, right? So we all get to choose for ourselves, right? But it's great that we have a great crew that comes in on Sunday nights, and yeah, and I've been feeling it this week. Have you been feeling it all this week? Any kind of, I don't know, Andrew. It's been kind of a strange week for me, right? Lots of emotions coming to the surface, like lots of deep thinking. How are you doing this week with the thinking? I've really been doing some really, really in, and not like on content, like it starts it off, but then I've been taking it and going off places on my own and coming to such amazing realizations, or sometimes I'm watching a video and then I go, oh my gosh, like that's the way I've always thought, and there's actually a terminology for that, right. And then last week, all about emotional intelligence, and they've been suggesting it again this week, but I just was trying to see if I could do some lighter subjects, and because I was biting on to the biographies, right? I was biting on to biographies this week, right? you know so I thought I would, yeah, it's interesting, the way people really are. I bet you know this, Andrew, right? Because you do a lot of reading and you do a lot of biographies. Oh, Kathy's here, Owen's here too, that you read a lot, right? But people, what they present to the world, right, really isn't how it actually is. When, like, I'm watching these biographies this week, and reading how these people thought and how they actually lived in their personal lives, right? Their understanding on things, right? It just kind of makes you wonder, right? Like, I just, like, every once in a while something comes out because they've done something crazy stupid, right? They've said something in the media, or it got into the news, or word of mouth in the neighborhood or something, right? People making the mistakes there and opening up their mouths. But when you actually read about it and you say, holy moly, right? Like, holy moly, right? Has polygamy, is that the one? Like, even in an aristocratical society, polygamy was rampant, right? But they just called them mistresses, right? Like, even Thomas Jefferson, I was reading today, like, he had a secret room where he kept his one of his black slaves that he was in love with, right? One of his housekeepers or something. I don't know the story. Andrew, you might know the story on that one. I just brushed up. I saved the video so I could watch it later, right? I did hear something about it a couple of years ago, or might have watched a video that was kind of on the topic a couple of years ago, but I thought that was pretty interesting. New York too, Owen? It's in New York too? Is it everywhere? Is it going on everywhere? Is it in Canada? Kathy, is this in Canada? Is this going? See, you guys, I'm trying not to watch that stuff. Like, it's getting through to me, right? Because I have some friends that have been upset about it. So I wanted to know a little bit about it, so that, if I could chit chat or help her help her or him calm her nerves, right? Or if we had a chit chat tonight, that we could actually get some stuff sorted out. But I didn't realize that it was traveling that fast, like it's going on. Sally Hemings, a black maid, and yeah, and then Thomas Jefferson had I'm pretty sure it was Thomas Jefferson. He had a one of those panel doors in his master bedroom, and it led right to a direct suite, and they just found it a couple of years ago, right? Direct suite. She had her own suite. where he would visit her, right? But she was family. Like she to him, like that was his wife as far as he was concerned, from what I heard. That is incredible. All those places. Oh, that's sad to see, because once it starts, it's not going to be, it won't be stopped. You have to shame them, right? It's the only way it'll stop. You have to shame them, right? Yeah. So there has to be a bigger stand on the other end. It's the only way to do it. Yeah. Maybe the pop stars or something have to get together, right? The musicians and the pop stars maybe could do something just to stop it, right? And then until they can find out another way that they can do their peaceful protests or something. But it's not safe to be out there. How they're doing it now is not right, right? It's not right. Like people are gonna die unnecessarily, right? And I hope at least everybody who's here tonight is actually, keeping safe, keeping themselves safe, right? And even if you do get the virus and you recover from it and everything, like the person walking down the sidewalk across from you doesn't know that, right? So just help them be comfortable by walking a little bit off to the side, right? Just pretend that you do have the virus, right? Just to make sure that person, or wear a t-shirt saying, I had it already, no longer contagious, right? And then everybody could see, right? Maybe they could designate bands on the arms. Wouldn't that be a good idea for the people who have recovered from the virus, that they could wear a band, right? Then people would start to feel a little bit more comfortable. Like, wouldn't it be good, like, if a whole business got the flu and everybody's recovered, right? If they had a band to show that everybody has already had the virus, then they would be more comfortable working in their work environment, right? Got you. And I was actually reading about that too, because when the pioneers came here, right? They were all going to one room schoolhouses. You always heard that I always had to walk 3 miles to school and 3 miles home in my bare feet, right? And their parents always told you those stories. And they were true, right? They were true. But what people don't think too is that they were immigrants. Can you imagine how many different languages were going on in those classrooms, right? They would have grade 1 to grade whatever. Did they have high school, grade 12? And they would do all the grades, right? All speaking different languages, trying to understand, and then struggling in school because they didn't understand. Can you imagine, like, a 16-year-old boy being beat out in their English studies by somebody who's in the first or second grade, because their parents, pitched in and helped them learn a little bit, right? How that would have emotionally, it's funny, all the things that emotionally impact, and people take these things to heart. I took so much to heart growing up, right? you know and I actually reveled in it, that victim mindset that I had gotten myself into. Yeah, I really did a job on myself, right? Yeah. I'll do much better. I'll do much better the next time, but yeah, kind of messed up, right? Right? I didn't meet my potential in life, right? Just because of the childhood and the teenage years, and the marriage falling apart, all those things you know that I did deal with death pretty good, right? Death never really seemed to phase on me too much. I was able to deal with death, okay? Like, even my dad's like, I don't know how well but afterwards I did. Like, it took a few days to, I guess, mourn pretty bad. But then, as soon as it was time to, I realized that, nothing was going to do to bring him back, right? It's just, you have to move on, right? You just pick yourself up and carry on. And that's exactly what I did. But yeah, it's funny how emotions affect us, right? Growing up, that we all just grow in avoidance of the pain, right? We grow in the avoidance of the pain, just like the trees outside, how the leaves all face the sun, right? They all reach for the sun, like even a sunflower, right? A sunflower, you'll notice that the face of the sunflower always faces the sun, right? For the warmth. And yeah, and as humans, we do the same thing, right? You're right, Andrew. I've come to realize that I did a lot. I did a lot for myself. I did a lot for myself. It was a bit of a crash course. It was a bit of a crash course, but I did really good, right? Right. But I searched out the answers for me, right? I searched out the answers for myself, and I'm a whole lot better situation that I'll ever be in again. Like that will never happen again, right? I'm cleaning up the mess now, right? A little bit of a mess, right? I ruined the credit card situation, but I'm not in the boat by myself. It happened to everybody. Everybody's, yeah. Unless you were pretty well to do, you'll sort yourself out, right? We're going to have a lot of businessmen like that when the stock exchange, the crash in the stock exchange. We're going to be in the same kind of situation, right? We're going to be going into recession, and us being baby boomers and stuff, we're going to kind of be put on the shelf a little bit, right? So we're going to probably have to scramble. Thank goodness for pensions and stuff. We're getting close to that and stuff, but there isn't going to be, I think, a big opportunity to. Well, you never know, right? You never know. Everybody's going to be competing for work, right? I know a lot about the recession, right? And about the depression, right? The crash of the stock market and Panama Canal, right? And the settlers moving into the cities so they can support their families that were staying up at the farms trying to survive, right? All guys living in rooming houses, all competing for work, right? Yeah, yeah, it was tough. It was tough. We're going to go into the same situation, right? The same situation we're going to find ourselves in. Oh, let me pull my mic. Forgot the microphone again. That's okay. It happens. I just leave it on a book here. I use the book also for my platter here, right? Because I have my small trays here, right? And has a few things here like I got my marbles. An antique marble has a pontoon where it was like actually molded and then cut off the pontoon. I have I have my moon rocks here, and I have a little pouch that they go in, because if I go on a road trip or something, then this comes with me because it's my good stuff. Oh, thank you. My sister bought me that, Owen, for Christmas last year, right? I have my dad's I have my dad's compass here, right? And it's in imperial measurement, so I don't really know how to use it because we're metric here. And then I have it's actually a bracelet, and these things all sit in the bracelet so they don't roll around anywheres. And then I have my little fairy, right, with my little green crystal heart in there. But I don't know if it's silver or pewter. Like it's so heavy, right? I don't know what it's made. I don't know what it's made of. I found it, right? I found it, and it's stayed with me ever since, right? And then I have Zippy is my turtle, and he's just too small for the desk, right? He just kind of he whips around, I just play with him and stuff, right? And yeah, so all this stuff just sits in my little bracelet here, and then my pouch with my thing. And then I have my peg, right? It's a piggy bank. It's separated here. And I've got pennies in there. Canada doesn't have pennies anymore. I know the States still has pennies. Did you know the fastest way to double your money? The fastest way in the whole world to double your money, guaranteed? Go to the bank. Okay, so if I gave each of you $1,000, the fastest way to double your money would to go to the bank and ask for $1,000 worth the roll of pennies. The penny is worth 1.8 cents. Did you know that? 1.8 cents. It's a homemade, it's an antique. Somebody made it with an old piece of copper, right? And these are just little old, I know it's antique because it's got the old star-shaped rivets in there, right? The old rivets in there. So those were popular in the 30s and 40s, right? So this is definitely, I would think, from the 40s. I don't think too much later because of the rivet here. And these are window pins, right? Old, because then when you look inside and you look how it was bent, they were those little middle metal pins that were put in the corners of the windows so that the windows wouldn't fall out. And they just bent those for ears, right? And then they just punched marked everything. But yeah, I love my pig. And yeah, I scored him. I got him for $1.99 at Value Village. It's a secondhand store, but it's a department store, secondhand store. I don't know if they have Value Villages in the States, but here in Canada, we have Value Villages. And I got him for $1.99. Like, that's pure copper, pure piece of antique copper, like high quality grade copper too. I grabbed him right away, and he's going to stay with me always until I'm dead. I love my pig, right? And he stays, and he's not a small, right? But he sits with my smalls because, yeah, he represents one day, Cindy, one day. Yeah, Cindy and her bank. Yeah. Yeah, we have no $1 or $2 bills too. You're right, Kathy. And that's been like that for years, right? No $1 or $2. We have the toonies and we have the loonies, right? Should I grab my crappy. Okay, everybody, you're gonna have to give me a moment here because I have just spilled my coffee on the floor. Oh, I'm sorry, everybody. That was a fresh cup of coffee, and that's not the first time I've done that, right? I have lids for my coffee cups. But yeah, I just don't want to get any coffee on my keyboard, right? Darn. Okay, give me 1 second here. 1 second, everybody. Cindy. We need this. And we need this because this is my belt. I wear this when I go on my bike. I go bike riding. I might go for a walk today. I might go for a bike ride. I don't know. I'll have to check the temperature, right? I have to check the temperature outside. But yeah, so that's why I like to keep my desk clear, right? Because that does happen. The only thing I actually do worry about is the keyboard, right? Just double checked and down. I can't afford to lose another keyboard. I just replaced the keyboard a month ago. It was fairly cheap though. They weren't expensive. I thought they were going to be very expensive, but they weren't at all, right? And I'm just going to yap as I clean this up anyway, right? It's adapt and conquer. And like I said, this isn't the first keyboard. Oh, boy. No, I didn't. Oh, I just took the arm guard off, I think. Something flew. Oh, no, something broke here. I don't know what it is. Oh, no. You guys, this is my space bar, and I'm missing a whole bunch of buttons. Okay. It's the mouse word. Let me just check. Okay, we're good. As long as I don't touch anything, we are good. And it's a good thing these are cheap, right? You know, keyboards are cheap. But Nancy, yay! So happy you're here, Nancy. How have you been doing? You weren't here last week. So what's the news? What happened this week? But isn't that interesting, right? So if anybody ever tries to, do a contest, right? Just say, hey, okay, well, you know what? You take $100, I take $100. We each have a half an hour to double our money, right? And then see who wins. You'd be guaranteed to win, right? Because the value of the penny is 1.8%. 1.8 cents. 1.8 cents, which is almost like 100% of what the penny is. I can't believe I went and I broke my keyboard, but that's okay. But Nancy, amazing. I'm glad you're here. Oh, Nancy. Oh, Nancy. Oh, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. We're thinking about you. Actually, threw a thought your way yesterday. I was sending you all kinds of light yesterday, and I'm going to send you some light right now. And I'm going to shoot some gold light right up your feet too. Give you a little bit extra energy, right? Take care of yourself. Oh, Nancy, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, if you can Nancy, you can make it to Winnipeg, Canada. You're more than welcome to come hang with me. You're more than welcome. That's a for sure offer, right? If you want to come hang out here, I'll have to put you in quarantine for 14 days, but I'm pretty much quarantined here anyway. But yeah, and Nancy, anything I can do to help you out, Nancy, for sure. Don't hesitate to ask, because I would be happy. I would be happy to help you out in any way that I possibly could, right? me in this mess, right? I'm such a silly girl. And then I have to wash the floors right away because there's cream in there. Oh, I don't know, coffee mate, but still there's sugar, right? And I don't want to get bugs, so I have to make sure I have to wipe my floor right away, right? Yeah. And I got to be careful too, because I notice here that my cat has been giving my cords little nibbles here. So I got to make sure that those stay off the ground too, right? I can't afford to replace anything, like nothing. Yeah. But yes, Nancy, take care of yourself. Bye, Nancy. Let me just go back over some of these comments here. But yeah, oh, terrific. Oh, but that Nancy, right? If it's not one thing, it's another, right? We should all be coming out of this crappy time that we're in right now, and some of us just always fighting, eh? Always fighting. Yeah, but you know what? Whoever side it's got Nancy, yeah. Good luck. Good luck messing with Nancy, because yeah. Yeah, everybody, yeah, throw Nancy a good thought. Really. Hospitals constantly, little illnesses along the way, right? This is going into This is going into a second year, and now she's got to worry about the roof over her head, right? Now she's got to worry about the roof over her head. But yeah, we're just gonna ride it out. That's all we can do, right? Ride the waves. Just ride the waves. How are you doing tonight, Owen? How have you been doing? How's your mom? How are you? Right? How are your emotions doing this week? And your headaches, how were your headaches? You said that you were having some wicked headaches last week too, right? How are the headaches this week? Any better? Yeah, I'd like to know about those headaches if you've been doing okay with those headaches. But yeah, well, tell me, everybody. Like, I'm not listening to the news or anything, right? Like, I haven't been listening to the news. Is everybody, like Nancy saying that she's an unsafe situation? Is everybody here okay? Is everybody here doing okay? Right? Right? How close is this hitting to your home, guys? Right? Is everything doing okay? And did Kathy answer about what was going on in Canada? If anything was going on in Canada? Oh, that's interesting, Andrew. Your grandfather riding the rails, right? I think my grandfather was part of the Co gang that rode with Billy the Kid. I think Billy the Kid, right? Yeah, he did trains too, but he robbed them. Yeah. I don't know much about history with my family, but there are little stories that did get by, right? You know? The little stories that did get by. Oh, isn't that a cute saying? I like that, Andrew, about the frog. But yeah, $1 and $2 bills, they've been gone for a long time, right? Oh, good. That's good news, Owen, that your headaches have been a little bit manageable. Oh yeah, I would love something like that, right? The hobo life, right? Right? But you can't have any ties to money, right? You would be pretty much living on the charity of others, right? The charity of others. But but I was just gonna dig in here. This is my bike bag. I must have. Oh, I do. This this is a $2 bill. This is a toonie, right? And the toonie has a polar bear on it. The toonie has a polar bear, and a toonie is from the loony. Do I have a loony? Oh, come on, Cindy, you must have a loony. No, I don't have a loony. But the loony is this color right here, the brass, right? But it takes up the whole coin and it has a loon on it. So that's why they called it a loony. And that's the $1. And then the toonie was the $2, right? But you guys in the States, you have the $1 coins now, right? Well, then you make sure you will that diary to me, Andrew. Yeah, make sure in your will that comes to me because I'll get you. I'll understand for sure. I understand the workings of the brain very, very well, and I understand the workings of the brain more and more every day. Right, every day. I got saved. The naughty nuns of Breckenshire or something like that. Like it was a nunnery, right? But it was all nuns who were bad. I haven't watched it yet. I just saved it. That's why I mentioned it, right? And it kind of makes you think, right? Because they were nuns, so obviously they had good hearts and they were doing their duties and stuff, right? But they had their own personalities and stuff going on too, right? Oh, you collect coins? Here's a funny story about coins. My dad was a cab driver, right? And he drove cab in between fishing. And when people didn't pay their fares, because sometimes people would take rides home, after going drinking and stuff, but they didn't have any money to pay for the cab. So my dad would go into their houses or their apartments, right? And he would take something of value and then he would hold on to it until the person paid their fare, right? Happened all the time. My dad got lots of old jewelry. He would always go for the coins or gold watches or expensive lighters and stuff and medals. He'd go for medals and sometimes he would take paintings and stuff, but anything of value, he would take it because he knew that people would come and pay their bills. And one time he got these two photo albums and inside the photo albums were just little sleeves and every one was a coin going back from the first coins that were ever made in the States. They were all American coins, all going back to the States. These coins, my dad collected these coins, right? And then when we moved to Winnipeg, because the guy never did come and pay my dad, so my dad always had these coins. And when we moved to Winnipeg, we moved into a house and I wasn't supposed to move to Winnipeg with them, but at the last minute, I decided I was going to go with them, and they charged me a couple $100 a month, and they gave me a room upstairs, right? And I remember I came home from work one day. I was working at 7-Eleven. I was a clerk at 7-Eleven, and I came home, and my dad was reading one of my books. He was sitting on the couch reading one of my books, and I knew where that book was. I knew exactly where I put that book. And I thought, well, why would he be in my stuff, right? And it turned out my dad had searched my room. He had gone through every inch of my room. He was looking for his coin collections, right? All the coins were taken out of the sleeves in these photo albums. And somehow he got in his head that I had taken these coins, right? And right, like somebody had to have taken them. Somebody had to have taken the coins, right? But he automatically assumed that it was me, right? And I wasn't happy that he went through my stuff, right? My private stuff. I wasn't happy for it. But the whole point of this is a few days later, we found out it was my youngest sister. She was only 5 or 6 years old. She was just a little kid, right? And it turned out that there was a little cafe restaurant on the corner at the end of the street, and she found the coins, right? And she would treat her girlfriends every day to lunch, little hamburger. It was like it was a Smitty's restaurant, but it was like a little sit-in, with the booth seats and stuff, like the counter, right? A counter sells per house, and yeah. So all these valuable, rare coins my sister spent buying her and her friends hamburgers at the restaurant, but whole coin, like silver coins, right? Very rare ones too. Yeah, and that was my sister, but she was so young. She didn't understand, right? What she was doing. And yeah, and I don't think, like, what can you do, right? That was my dad's own fault. He should have said, "Don't touch my coins," right? But my dad didn't even look at those coins for years. It probably just sat there for years. And my sister just snooping just probably happened onto them, right? Yeah. But yeah, he did. he didn't have any coins left. She used them all. She had spent them all, right? So for a couple of months anyway, it would have taken her all a couple of months of every day taking her friends over there to get it. But yeah, she got away with that. Yeah, she was just a little kid, right? And I don't know if my dad ever went to the restaurant. I'm sure he did. He would have gone over to talk to the owner because he would have known that the owner would have picked through the coins at the end of the day, right? Or maybe even the servers and stuff would have bought. Probably that's what I would have done. I would have bought the coin, right? I would have put $1 into the till and I would have taken that $1 coin as my own, right? That's what I would have done. So yeah, that's probably what would happen. I wouldn't have done that now, right? I would have brought it to the attention of the person now, but in my mentality back then, I most likely would have done it. And I don't know if even now that would be technically wrong, right? Because I buy silver, all the time, right? I don't think there's anything wrong. If somebody wants to pay in the coin, right? Right? That it would be okay to purchase. There wouldn't be anything wrong to purchase at face value. I mean, somebody made the mistake of dropping that in the till, yeah, and somebody was smart enough to recognize it. That's treasure, right? That's called beach combing. What do they call that when they're beach comb? Scavengers rights. Right? That's exactly what it is. Scavengers rights, right? I'm going to be doing rock hounding this year. I've already decided I'm going to do rock hounding this year. I want to find some crystals. I have it in my head. I'm going to hit something big. I'm going to find a meter. We actually had a huge meter. We have a place called um, in the White Shell. It's Gull Harbor. No, it's a white shell, right? And it's the deepest lake I think in Canada, and it was actually a meteor hit there, right? And yeah, there's bits of this meteor all around the areas of this huge crater, but you don't find them any very often. But there is a professor at the museum who's found two pieces of meteor right in the area. So I thought, oh, I'll go looking, rock hounding, and if I find meteor, because I'll take my metal detector too, right? Because it'll be live. It'll register on a metal detector for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna do some beach combing. Oh, Andrew, yeah, that's sweet. Yeah. My dad would have appreciated if you were the person picking up the coins, right? And I have my metal detector. I went metal detecting, I think last weekend I went metal detecting, but they put signs up, right? Because the land is really, really old there, right? It's really old there. And I even found square nails and pieces of furniture and stuff, right? And lantern work and horseshoe remover I found, right? Really, really old too, over 100 years old for sure, right? Beach combing, right? ah, we have limestone quarries here. A lot of our buildings and our skyscrapers are made with the limestone, right? But we like to go swimming because the lime in the quarries that it turns the water like Hawaiian green, right? But in the 80s, the young people used to go and party down there, and there'd be broken beer bottles and stuff, and then people would cut their feet because it's like off the road and stuff. It would be hard to get help if something happened. So they closed the quarries off to the public when it got too popular, right? It was okay when it was just like, the farm workers and stuff at the end of the night want to go for a quick swim. But once they started partying there, yeah, they shut the whole thing down. And there are a lot of quarries, like a lot of quarries here, right? Granite quarries and limestone quarries. We have lots. Well, Manitoba is almost almost all rock, right? Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing some rock hounding, and I'm looking forward to polishing my rocks, right? If I can get a good used secondhand rock polisher, I'm gonna polish my rocks and I'm gonna sell them online. Right? That's a good profit margin, right? It's just the chemicals that you have to pay for. Just the one-time investment in the machine, right? Yeah, and as long as you have electricity, right? I could if I even sold that tray at $10 a piece, there would be thousands of dollars just in that little bowl, right? There would probably be $1,000 in there. At $10 a piece, buy my rock. Right? It's like those that they sold, didn't they, in the 70s, didn't they have pet rocks, right? Remember the pet rocks? Was that the 70s? Yeah, the pet rocks in the 70s, right? Yeah, so I've been watching a lot of rock hounding and the crystals and stuff, and you break open the geodes, right? You just take a hack and you hack them in half, and then inside the rocks are beautiful crystals and stuff, right? Is Sharon here too? Oh, awesome. Sharon's here tonight too. But yeah, but just trying to think of some things that I can do. But yeah, we have lots of gravel pits in here. I can beach comb through gravel pit, no problem, right? But yeah, definitely, that's what I want to be doing is doing some rock hounding. I want to work out at the fort too, and I might not have a choice, right? I might have to ask my sister if I could live out there, right? I might be living in my fort. Well, I'm sure we could fix the motor home so it can last a winter. I know he fixed the heater on the inside. I know we can get the heat going, right? But I wouldn't want to live in there if there was in any like black mold or anything like that. Nobody's ever lived in that motorhome out there. And yeah, he just put a roof on it, just put a porch on it. And wow, Andrew, you're just like an encyclopedia. Andrew, you're just like an encyclopedia. Yeah, the pet rocks, right? I think I even had pet rocks. Boy, did somebody rake some money in on that idea, right? Yeah. It gives me some ideas, right? Oh, right. Do you guys, oh, the Rubik cubes too. The Rubik, yes. What about the clackers? Do you guys remember the clacker with the big clear Bakelite balls at the end of the string on this on with the loop, and you had to clack them, right? Yeah, that was my favorite, the clackers, and they were super dangerous, but I was very good at the clackers. Yeah. And then I heard that they dumped the clackers in the middle of the ocean, like some company in China went and just took all the clackers and then just dropped them in the ocean. Click clacks. Glass though? Yes, the clackers. Yeah, because people were whacking themselves in the head with that thing because you'd wave them in front of your face, right? Bang, 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 bang. And then next thing you know, you'd like whack your out self in the head. It was just like two balls that just kept hitting each other. And those balls were super strong, right? Because they had to clack together. So it would have to last a long time. And then it was just a knot, like the rope went through a hole in the middle of it. And then it was just a little knot. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's what I heard. I heard that a ship in China just went out into the ocean, just dumped them all and just dumped them into the ocean, right? Oh, it's just a friend of mine posting. I'll go take a look at his video a little bit later. I shouldn't have clicked that off because it'll probably start giving me notifications one after another for the next couple of minutes, right? Yeah. But that was good to see Nancy. At least Nancy has a roof over her head for the moment, right? She still has her internet, right? Because remember, she said that her internet, she might have troubles with her internet, right? But I feel so bad for the Americans. I feel so bad, right? And that could easily have happened here, right? Right? So Canadians are going to learn a great lesson from what's happening in the states right now. We're all watching, right? We're all feeling with you guys, right? Because it's got to be so split. Like I can't see it everybody agreeing with what's going on right now. I can't see it because I don't agree with it, right? Like so many people are safety is being put jeopardized, right? She lives in a beautiful city. Nancy lives in a beautiful city, right? But again, there's a lot of homelessness in Seattle now too, right? But we all live in, in interesting places. It all everywhere has good points to it and bad points to it, right? Like I live in a beautiful little neighborhood, but it's a little bit close to downtown, right? If somebody wanted to drop a bomb on Winnipeg, like, I'd be gone, right? Because I'm pretty close to downtown. I could ride my bike downtown in less than 10 minutes, right? You know, and I've walked downtown. Takes me a little bit longer, but I've walked downtown. We have the Disease Control Center for Canada, right? We have the Ebola virus here. We have the coronavirus here, like in the lab, and that lab is downtown, smack dab in the middle of Winnipeg, right? You know, so if you're going to drop a bomb, make sure the whole city goes poof, right? Because you don't want to be releasing any. And well, I'm sure they're in vaults that would be good for earthquakes and whatever other kind of natural disasters go up. But every place has bad points, but they have good points too, right? People in Winnipeg are lovely people, right? They are beautiful, kind-hearted people that care about each other, right? They're not so much about how much money you have, right? They'll help somebody down below just as well as they would help somebody up above, right? Yeah. Yeah, in a college town, so it's a good thing that the school wasn't back. Can you imagine if this was going on, Andrew? It might be a blessing, right? It might be a blessing that Yeah, we have nobody in the hospital, Taylor. Like we have nobody. There's no viruses in the hospitals at all. Like no intensive care people, nobody in regular wards, right? So I'm pretty certain they're starting up with the with with all alternative operations now. People can start getting their operations now, but the long weekend just ended last week. So we did get two new cases this week from the long weekend, right? We did get two new cases, but it's just a matter of watching to see, well, who did those two people come in contact with, and that's going to say everything because those colds will show up likely in the next couple of days now, right? Because it's been a few days. What? Sharon. Oh, that's crazy, Sharon. Oh, Taylor, yes. Yes. Where are you from, Taylor? Are you from Manitoba too, Taylor? Yeah, Manitoba has done really well. Everybody followed the rules, right? We're stressed too. Oh, awesome, Taylor. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, we are doing really, really good here, right? But Manitobans are like that, right? Oh, born and raised. I'm from Vancouver, Taylor. I came out here when I was 18 years old. So I've been here 40 years now. Wow, it's my 40-year anniversary for Manitoba coming up this September. Coming up this September. We moved here in September. I had just graduated high school in Vancouver. And yeah, my dad came home one day and he says, we're moving to Winnipeg. No, what? What? But that was my dad, right? He get ideas in his head and that was it. And yeah, within a couple of weeks, my whole family was gone, and then me and my sister came out a couple of weeks after that, right? Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it beautiful? Do you love camping, Taylor? Like Manitoba, we do cottages and we do a lot of camping here in Manitoba, right? And yeah, Black Lake is my favorite place in the whole province to go, right? I just love Nopaming. I think Nopaming is just the most spectacular places in Manitoba for sure, right? But I absolutely loved my drive along the Trans Canada Highway when I drove through Ontario. That was pretty spectacular. But it's been years since I seen mountains, right? It's been years since I seen mountains. This was the first time that I saw mountains, right? But oh, okay. Oh, Pinawa too. I actually did a video on Pinawa Dam. I did it. I do explore videos too, Taylor. When you get a sec, take a look at my explore videos, right? I did Pinawa Dam. I did it in the winter too. I had to drive in from the high or walk in from the highway through the snow. I had to traipse through the snow because you couldn't take your cars in there, right? So I had to stop off at the highway. 37 years. Andrew, where are you originally from? Oh, Taylor, is that ever nice of you to say? Is that ever nice of you to say? Oh, I love that. 1992. That was the year before I got married, 1992. That was the year that my husband sent me to go stay with my mom when he went to do a tour in Croatia, right? But yeah, I love Pinawa Dam. I go out Highway 17 and I go out to, well, Pinawa Dam. That's more by Beaujeu, right? But yeah, I go through Lac de Bonny on that one. Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful drive. I should do a we should do put together a trip, right? If we could get a trip together, we could all go camping, different places in the province and go camping, right? Take a whole crew with us. I would love to do something like that. Yeah. I'm never really scared. You would think that I would be scared going into those buildings and stuff, but I'm pretty fearless that way. Even when I can see there's no roofs or you can touch the wall and the whole building can fall on you and stuff. Yeah, I was never really afraid that way. I was sometimes nervous because when you have to stop, when you find a good place, I had to stop on the road and I had to wait for somebody to come by, right? So I could ask permission, right? And it was usually somebody in the neighborhood. So you have to talk to somebody you don't know. I wasn't a fan of it, but I did it, right? Because I wanted to explore a place. Or I would actually, if nobody would drive by, and it didn't happen very often because it's the prairies, right? So no matter where you are out in the field, somebody knows that they can see your car reflected in the sun when you're out on the road, right? So somebody would always eventually come by and pretty fast too, right? And Yeah, nobody ever said no. Anytime I ever asked if I could look at a building or something, I always say yes, everybody always said yes, go ahead, but be safe. They would always say, be careful. You're doing it at your own risk. And sometimes I had to say, do you want me to sign something? And then they just say, oh, do you think we should? And I go, no, it's okay. And I'll just say, I'll say something. I'll say something at the beginning of my video. And they go, oh, you're videotaping it? And I says, yeah, of course, right? Because it's part of our history. It's part of our history. Like my very first video, one of my very favorite videos too. I went back because once I was better at the camera and stuff, and I had my Osmo, stabilizer. I wanted to get a good video because it was an amazing Explorer, right? It had full sheds and the house was stuffed full, but it was ready to fall down, right? And I went to take a video. I went back there, and yeah, the farmer had burnt the house down and burnt down all the outbuildings. And I remember this one antique cupboard, and it had this antique lion pull on it. And I thought, oh, I could see where the burn hole was, and I knew where that shelf was, right? And I thought, oh, if I dig through this, I bet you I could find that lion pole, right? But I never did. I never did. Oh, West Virginia. Yes, I remember you saying Sharon, West Virginia. 92. So that's why it's so hard to leave, right? I know it's like hard to drag it to like scrape the money up for a big move and stuff, but when you've been settled into a place for a long time, like I know how you feel because I've been in my apartment this long, and yes, the rent is cheap, right? It's cheap rent and everything, right? And it's a beautiful little neighborhood that I live in, but yeah, I'm settled, right? And it makes it so you don't want to do change, right? And change is important. Change is very, very important to do, right? Because as well, as much as you didn't want to do all that work for your brother, right, Andrew, how hard that work was, didn't it keep you busy? Didn't it keep your brain just frantically finding solutions and working things out and everything? Like it was challenging, right? We need those challenges in our life every once in a while. It stresses us out. We prefer them not being there, but they're very helpful for us, right? They're very helpful to have these changes going on. Love the mountains. Yeah, I absolutely just love the mountains. But I'm sorry to hear about all the things that are going on in the cities in the states, right? That's a sad situation that happened, right? And I wouldn't know what to do if I didn't hear from you guys. You guys better show up here next Sunday, right? So that I know you're okay. You guys promise me now, like even if you just can pop in for a moment. Like I got your comment there from last week, Sharon, and I didn't even comment back. It was just rude of me not to do that too. And as soon as you popped into, I'm like, damn, right? And I do that too. I read the comment, but I don't have time to write, so I always make a mental note. Okay, I'm going to come back when I have good 5 or 10 minutes that I can chit chat for a second, and yeah, and then you totally forget, and then you pop in, you go, oh damn, I meant to do that. Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do about the credit cards. Everybody, even the rich people, are going to have credit problems, right? So you're going to be back in that situation like it was. When was that? In the 90s, right? The 80s or late 80s, early 90s, when people were getting cars and houses with no credit, with bad credit and stuff. Remember before they stopped all that because it was making the market crash? They're going to have to do something like that again, right? Because people are going to have property of their own to feel secure. So I can see those because car companies still have to sell their cars. Real estate agents still have to sell real estate, right? But if people can't afford it, or if people's credit is so shot, right? And that you got to assume that everybody's credit is going to be in a total mess right now. Well, can't assume that. There are good people out there who squirreled away for these times, right? Right? That properly put money away so that when these terrible times happen that they're able to ride out okay, right? You've never had credit at all. Oh my gosh. If you've never had credit at all, you would be approved instantly if you wanted a credit card, Sharon. Yeah. Yeah, if you ever get a job, they would give you an extra credit card just for not having any credit at all. Wow. Now you must have an amazing credit rating. I got you, Andrew. Yeah, I remember you telling us that story of the lady who saved all those paintings and architecture and start pieces of art and stuff from those mansions during the Depression, right? I wonder if that's going to happen again, right? I wonder if that's going to happen again, where you're going to have all those rich people abandon their mansions and stuff again. That's going to be curious to watch what's going on. Yeah, this is going to be curious to see how this all plays out, right, people? This is unprecedented. We've never done had to go through something like this before. And being Canadian, we're sitting back here and we're watching, right? I hope the prime minister is putting a little something together, like to, a boo boo package, right? To make people feel a little bit better, right? Yeah, he's gonna the prime minister is gonna have to do a little something, I think for the really low incomes, the people who are on assistance and on welfare and disability and stuff, a little extra bonus for them. It wasn't enough. They gave everybody a little bit for GST, but people used that to stock up on supplies, right? Now their major utilities are being threatened, right? So the government needs to do something, pay off some phone bills, right? Yes, make people feel comfortable that they can have their phone, that they can at least do a little bit of internet stuff and everything, right? Yeah. Wow. Good job, Owen. I declared bankruptcy on my student loan. You can't do that anymore, right? But yeah, when I declared bankruptcy, I did have a student loan. I think it was like wasn't very much. It was only like $7,000, but I had other debts and stuff, right? I had a $20,000 car that I signed for a loan for a girlfriend, and she was driving it without license, and she smashed it into yeah, she totaled the car, and then she left me with the payments of the car, right? $20,000 car. I did that out of the kindness of my heart, signing those papers, right? And yeah, she screwed me over, and she was a friend too, right? And she was the one that pulled me into the yeah. See, when we have bad influences in life somewheres, when you want people to like you and you're trying to make friends and stuff, and then you just make bad choices, right? Bad choices. And yeah. Yeah. And I learned from that, right? Yeah. Yeah. Don't sign for anything for anybody. Yeah. And I knew better, right? I knew better, right? Like, she couldn't afford to get that car. I knew she wasn't the type of person, but at the same time, I didn't think I was going to get the loan. And it was, in the end, once I got the loan, I wish I had done that loan so I could have my own vehicle, not buying somebody else one. Yeah, I don't know. I was young. I was young, right? Right. But lots of people are that age and don't make those kind of mistakes. But I certainly did, right? But it was the influence and the lack, not just bad influence, it was the lack of good influence in my life too, right? I didn't have enough people. I never really had to account to anybody in my whole life, right? Even in my, obviously in the jobs, but I always just in my head, right? My loyalty went to whoever was putting the roof over my head. And other than that, I didn't care, right? Right? I just wanted to go off and do my own thing. And yeah, but you can see what happened because of it, right? Because I didn't have to account for myself, right? Because I wasn't very good at self parenting, right? I was very good at trying to enjoy my life for as much as it could. And I got lots of wonderful experiences, lots of wonderful adventures, and I learned a lot and experienced a lot, but there wasn't much in the way of self discipline, right? I didn't parent myself. I didn't say no to myself. I guess, because that victimhood, being in victorhood all my life, right? It was hard for me to say no, right? Go, oh, Cindy, you had such a crappy little childhood, right? Poor you, right? Right? And then you end up never saying no. If you want something, you just take it, right? Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know how to say no to myself. I was always trying to make myself feel better, right? And I never had money to do it, but I would go off and do little adventures and stuff just to make myself feel better. Not everything costs money, right? Oh yeah, I everywhere's here. Everywhere's has a for rent sign. We very rarely. It's usually the apartments. Housing here is just enough for everybody here, right? And then what we do is developers will buy old properties and then renew them or tear them down and build new in the spots, right? So housing is pretty consistent here, right? So it's enough that you have to put in an application and you'll get numerous people applying for the apartment, right? But not so crazy that you can't find anything, or not so crazy that there's so many out there that rent is cheap, cheap, cheap. But now I noticed that now you mentioned it yesterday. I kept looking at houses that were for sale and for rent, apartments for rent and everything. Again, there's that little bit of worry, right? That I'm in the same boat as everybody else. It could change for me on a dime my whole life again, flip upside down. But I'm not anticipating it. I'm not waiting for it to happen, but when it does, I'm going to be ready to ride those waves, right? I'm just going to be able to just ride those waves, and whatever happens, it happens, right? But I'm not going to go look for it. I'm not looking for those stories online. I don't want to see the riots. Obviously, I'm going to come across it, and because I'm on Twitter and I'm on Instagram, like it gets by me. And of course, some people in my network are also posting on it and stuff too. So I'm going to come across it, but I'm not looking at it. I'm not going to follow it, right? I'm just going to, right? I'm going to pay attention to the positive in the world, right? Just keep my eye on that tunnel light at the end, right? And not pay attention to what's going on beside us, right? Yeah, don't pay attention to what's going on beside us. Just keep moving forward. Yeah, I can see that, right? And that's the sad part when we do it to our families, right? Because I hold that, right? Like I feel bad for my sister Tracy because she held me up lots, right? And it's all fine and dandy. I can say in my head, when things get better, I can pay her back. But she needs that stuff too, right? She needs to keep things going on in her head, right? she might make lots of money, but she has a much higher overhead, right? Right. My sister actually paid for her house. Her house is paid off. Her house is paid off last year in April. So 1 year now, her house has been paid off. I'm so proud of her, right? She worked hard. She worked hard to do that. So even at the very worst, she'll always have a place to live and a nice place to live, right? It's the property is huge, got lots of beautiful big oak trees and everything on it, right? Nice sun porch and everything. But yeah, it's she's got her house paid off, so I'm really pleased with my sister, right? Yeah, we just don't want to be distracted by that because we'll get pulled into. And Sharon especially, Sharon has such a huge heart when it comes to causes, right? You're the one where we have to hold her by the scruff of the back of the net, the shirt, right? Am I not speaking the truth here, Sharon? We have to hold you by the scruff of the back of your shirt to stop you from diving into it, right? Because there's nothing better that Sharon loves than a good cause, right? To go off there and fight for a good cause. So, Sharon, if we can keep you safe for a little bit, right? If we can, I know you won't be able to help yourself, but be a spectator. But yeah, if you can ride this one out. Yeah, I know that, Sharon. I know, Sharon, you're gonna want to jump into that. I know it. I could just feel your heart breaking for it right now, right? But you can't do anybody any good if you get yourself in a situation, right? You have to take care of yourself. Can you imagine what would happen with your son if he knew that you got in the middle of something like that and he wasn't there to protect you, right? This is something you and your son do together, right? The causes together. So don't put yourself in an unsafe situation where your son's not going to. Oh, I'm glad. Un- until and yes, unless it gets unsafe to be in your. Do you have an escape route and everything? Do you have a little plan? Do you have a bag packed, Sharon? Right? Do you have a bag packed? Do you have a little thing like in your mind, like grab, grab, grab? Okay, I can get out of here now, right? Right? A couple of friends that you can leave messages with right away. Yeah. I have to get some money down on my phone. At the very least, I have to keep my phone going, right? I have to keep my phone going. Okay, everybody. That's the end of the live tonight. I still have one more post to do on Instagram tonight. I don't know what the topic it is. I have a lot of stuff going on in my brain, but I think I might go and just go for a walk and go to the coffee shop, and I'm going to feel like a human being for a couple of minutes, get some fresh air. Oh, I was very lucky today. The government gave up, well, not the government, the auto pack, which is our car insurance, gave us little rebates, right? They made a little bit extra money because everybody's virus and everything. They didn't need to do payouts for car accidents and stuff, and they had some money on the side. And they did a kindness. So everybody who drives a car got a little bit of a rebate, right? Maybe it was only $25 or $50 or something, but wasn't that great, for car insurance to cough up that money. They didn't have to do it. They could have put it into a 1 day fund or put it into infrastructure on the roads or something, right? But they knew people need a little bit of help, and I think they did a really good thing. And I don't know if anybody is giving them shouts out. Maybe I should tweet something, right? Say thank you very much, AutoPack, and that will come in very handy. Actually, that's exactly what I think I'll do. Okay, everybody, have a great night, and yeah, everybody take care of yourselves this week. If you can pop in next Sunday, just let us know that you're doing okay, right? And if you get wired, right, email me. Email me. We'll chit chat. We'll chit chat. Happy to chit chat, right? If things get so stressful for you and you just need to dump, right? I would be absolutely just thrilled if you dump on me, right? Dump on me. Yeah. We're the wards of each other, right? We're the wards of each other. We take care of each other. Okay, everybody. Have a great night. Take care. Bye bye.